The Supreme Court just held a major hearing on vaccine mandates. We're talking about the Biden administration's decision through the OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, of attempting to impose a kind of nationwide mandate, including on the private sector, companies with 100 employees or more. And this has been in bitter court battles. Now, the appellate court, I believe it was the Sixth Circuit, upheld the validity of these mandates, or to put it somewhat differently, refused to issue an injunction that would put them, that would bar them pending the adjudication of the case. So this is what is before the Supreme Court. It's not the ultimate constitutionality of the mandate. It is, listen, can the Biden administration continue to impose the mandate while this is all being fought over? If the Supreme Court issues an injunction and says no, then the mandate is essentially dead pending this final adjudication. Now, this is not an argument about the validity of the vaccines. It's about the mandate. And it's also specifically about, can this agency of the government, let's remember, this is a bureaucratic agency mainly charged with occupational safety. And it typically does things like regulate asbestos and make sure that workplaces are safe to be able to do work. So the question is, can an agency like this have this kind of authority? And this was argued before the court. And, the three progressive justices seem to be just fine with the OSHA mandate. They would not, in my view, and in the view of most observers, issue any kind of injunction. But what's interesting is the kind of absurd misstatements that came out of not just Sotomayor. I mean, she clearly is the most ridiculous. Her statement about, 100,000 children are endangered and many of them are on ventilators. I mean, all kinds of, even the liberal fact checkers are like, that is just outright false. But even Breyer appeared to have no clue about differences between different types of COVID. So what you have here is almost a garbage pail of flat-out false assertions mingled with just prejudiced rhetoric. And what I find odd about this Sotomayor business is, she's been hailed from the time of her appointment as some kind of a champion of the first woman Latina on the court. And the problem with this kind of genuflection and this kind of elevation is that when you say stupid stuff, you basically make Latinas look bad. Because you're supposed to be, if you will, the quintessential, the representative Latina. This is a justice, and this is sadly true of at least two, maybe all three of the progressive justices. They're really kind of indifferent to the text of the Constitution, to some degree, at least in this case, unfettered by facts. And in Sotomayor's case, you have a militant activist who seems to have no qualms about twisting and bending the law to achieve a kind of predetermined result. Now, the good news, I don't think the conservatives are going to go for this. Not even Justice Roberts. Justice Roberts made the comment. He said, listen, when OSHA was established 50 years ago and was given statutory authority by Congress, he says, quote, that was 50 years ago when Congress acted. I don't think it had COVID in mind. In other words, it is a stretching beyond recognition of OSHA's mandate to do this, to allow that. The other justices, notably Gorsuch and also Kavanaugh, their point was, listen, if there's going to be a vaccine mandate, if you want to have a law that requires even private corporations to act in a certain way, well, which branch of government passes laws? The Congress. So it's not the executive branch acting unilaterally through OSHA that can do this, not even by claiming it's an emergency. After all, let's remember this emergency is now, 2 years old. COVID started really in early 2020. Here we are in 2022. So we're now dealing with COVID. This is not something that has just come out of nowhere with nothing known about it. It was Ron Klain, Biden's chief of staff, who said early on that these mandates are, quote, workarounds of the Constitution. In other words, let's figure out a way to get around the Constitution. By the way, several of the justices quoted him and commented on this during the hearings. And I think all of that is a way of saying that these justices know that the Biden administration is playing fast and loose with the Constitution. and they're not about to let them get away with it.